everybody, welcome back to the farm. We have just finished our olive harvest. As you've probably watched over the past couple of weeks, that took us quite a lot of time, and so we've had a few days off now where we've just been doing a little bit of life admin.
Yeah, some success with that, some not, but we've put that to one side now so we can get back to doing some of our chores on the land.
We've written a massive list.
This is our list that we wrote up last night, and it doesn't include everything that's going to be done after the next month. This is just what we want to try and achieve over the next, well, few weeks. Let's be realistic, the next few weeks. Yeah,
we have had a new arrival on the farm and it's very exciting, but we will tell you about that in the next couple of weeks, not for this video. So I think what we're going to do is just go through our list and pick off the ones that we want to do each day, really.
Once we've got the motivation to do it when we've warmed up enough, because the end of the olive harvest has brought about a real change in the weather, and it is cold.
It's cold. I mean, I know some of you in the UK are getting like super cold because you've had snow, but see when that wind comes over the hill from Spain, blimmin' heck, it's cold.
I had no idea wind from the east and the north could be so cold over here on the Iberian Peninsula. So we are probably going to pick from the list the jobs that keep us the most warm, and I imagine Miranda will be staying indoors sanding in that case.
Definitely today.
Whereas everything I've got on the list is outdoor work, but we will pick what we want to do and we'll share it with you this week.
Yeah. Welcome to what will be our dining room. In here I've got 2 main beams and 21 smaller beams. That's going to take some time to do again. So I hope you're not bored of watching me standing, because I'm just going to be standing for the next few weeks again. Okay, yeah, this is going to be a lovely little room actually. Over in this corner, it's going to be our dining table. And we want to try to get a pew made. Those of you that are not from the UK. For those of you who are not from the UK, a pew is a type of seat you would get in a church. The long benches. So we want a pew that goes along the corner, and then we'll have our table, and then over in that corner we're going to have a fire, and then here we're going to have a nice big window and a door that goes out to the veranda, and that will be the way through to the kitchen. So exciting to get these plans on the go.
I've managed to find myself a slightly warmer corner of the farm. So what I've been able to do with the tractor, because it is necessary just to do a little bit of light servicing every 10 hours or so, and trust me, that's long overdue. So what I've done is, so far, I've used the air compressor on the radiator grill, because it does have a tendency to fill with dust as you drive around the farm. And as you will have seen before, that's a particular issue when doing the grass cutting in the spring, when all the seeds get into it. So I've cleaned that out. My next job now is to grease the nipples on the mechanical moving parts, such as the back box 3-point linkage and the front loader on the tractor too. So I'm just going to wipe off any dirt using some tissue. I've also got some cleaning wipes if necessary, and then I can put grease onto the nipples just to keep those areas moving smoothly and without issue.
I want to tell you about a new tool that I've bought, and I want to say thank you to Lewis, who's also known as Lumaps is his username when he comments on our videos. He's recommended one of these. Now this is a sander There's a belt sander, it's a small belt sander, but it gets right into the little corners, and it wasn't expensive, and bless him, he did all the research and emailed us and told me where to get one from. So thank you very much, Lewis. It makes a huge difference, and I can get right into my corners now.
For the past couple of months, what we've done on the farm has been largely dictated by the size of the works being completed. So we've had no choice that once they begin, we've cracked on with them. So that's been the land management with the new canal and the French drain. And then we went straight into the olive harvest. So now, from our massive list, Miranda and I are just having the luxury of choosing to do whatever we want to do over the next few days before we take on the next big job. So this morning, I'm just going to take care of the grass in a little area of our olive grove where it hasn't grown back particularly well, and it's also grown back quite long. And as our next big job is going to be completing the olive pruning across the entire orchard, I'll just cut this grass down just in the hope that it grows back a little better, and also it's not going to be tripping us up when we come through to prune. I'd say that's job done. The grass or the ground is looking much better. I'm really chuffed a bit. It's just been a couple of hours. Let's wait and see now how the land looks when the grass regrows. I've spotted a couple of areas as well where I should be able to plant some of our new citrus trees. In between the rows of olives, there's a couple of spots where you'd expect an olive tree to be, and there isn't. So I'll take advantage of that over the next couple of days and get those. I'll probably plant the clementines. They're not too far from where we've already got some citrus. So that's where I'll pop them in.
Let me bring you up to speed with the dining room. So I've spent hours sanding today, and I have done 18 out of 21? No, that can't be right. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16 out of 21. So well on the way to getting this done. Most of the beams are absolutely fine. There's a little bit of infestation, but I've been able to sand it out. It's not been a problem at all. But overall, it's looking lovely, and I'm really pleased with it. I'm going to keep cracking on because I've only got 8 to go. So 8, 7 to go. I don't know. I've lost count now. Right. So yeah, keep sanding. Might be able to hear Paul strimming outside. Come and see what I found. So, same as the other side, this was all covered with just a little bit of plyboard. and I've uncovered it, and this is a beam that runs all the way along the house. I won't expose the whole thing, but it will look nice just above the doorway, I think.
Time for my next job of the day. Got a couple of hours of daylight left to do some strimming before this land becomes too wild again. We'll see how this goes. It hasn't started up for 6 months. That'll do for today. That sun is going to disappear over that hill in about 10 minutes, and it'll start getting dark and very cold very quickly. So I'm going to pack up. I'm really pleased with what I've done, and we can get back to it tomorrow.
Before I crack on with some bigger jobs, I need to take my onions out. So these have been planted, I think it was May. We were quite late in the season we started planting, and they've grown really, really well. They haven't done the tops fall over thing just yet, but I'm also conscious of the fact that the weather's starting to make a turn for the worse. It's going to get more and more wet, so I think lifting them up now is not a bad idea. So I've got this bed. Somewhere in the bed over there are onions. I just hadn't got round to doing the weeding because of all the other jobs that we had going on. So I'm going to make a start and just start lifting all of these, and then I'm going to take them inside and set them out to dry. Oh baby, come and have a look.
I've come down to have a look at how the onions look.
Looking more like leeks.
Oh, I did have a suspicion when I came for a look this morning and suggested to Miranda that she lift them.
Oh right, okay, so this has been a setup then. I don't know what we've done.
I generally do think Miranda is the first person in history to turn an onion into a leek, as she said. They haven't grown like they did when we were living in Wales, would you say?
No.
We were chatting earlier on as well about the composition of the soil, and that I'd found, having looked at it earlier on this morning, that it was a bit more clay-like than I actually had first realised. And quite a few of you mentioned when we first dug this area over back in the spring that we needed to add some good quality organic matter into it to improve the quality and structure of the soil. And I really think that's correct. Whether that's had an impact on how the onions have grown, I don't know, but they look a bit unusual.
Double leak. Are you sure we didn't plant leeks instead? So I'm going to go on to the next bed and have a little look and see whether I can find any more leek onions. But I found a melon, so I'm going to have this melon now. It's alright. It's a bit of a wash. But we had the melons before from here, and even though they're small, they taste so sweet. Brilliant. Melons, size of apples, melon apples. We've got leek onions and melon apples. Right, let's go find these other onions. Can't quite tell what's grass and what's onion here. Red leek onions. Going into big brother then. Little brother. I don't know if this is going to work, but give them a go. Some of them are a bit soft, and maybe they'll harden up, or they'll all be rotten all the way through, but we'll give it a go. I used to do this on my shelves in my greenhouse, but my shelves are being used for other things at the moment, so one's fallen through. So I'm using this table, which the slats are not quite wide enough. So that's them all set up to air dry. This is how I would have done it in the greenhouse, but obviously on a slightly bigger scale. I'm really disappointed with the fact that half of them haven't got bulbs, but hopefully they'll still be edible if they dry out. Some of them are a bit soft, and maybe drying process will make them harden up a little bit. What I've done here is I've just poked them through the little slats, but on the table here I want to try to make sure that the bulb part of the onion doesn't touch any of the leaves of the other onions, because otherwise they might start going mouldy. So I've tried to hang them over the edge of the table. Whether that's the right thing to do or not, I don't know. I'm just doing what I think feels right. You can let me know if I'm doing it wrong. Yeah, done.
So my first task of the day is to deal with this pine tree that was growing on the middle of our vegetable area where we're going to have our fruit orchard. Now, I'm not sure if we've already explained, so just to say the reason why we're cutting down this pine and the one which is nearer our drive, which is much larger than this one, the reason they're coming down is because they have had in the past the nests of the pine processionary caterpillars. Now, if you live in Portugal, you will be well aware of these caterpillars. They're not great with animals. We've seen some horrific injuries online to, for instance, cats and dogs who have come into contact with them. and they can also be very bad for humans as well, because when they are disturbed or alarmed, they will release their hairs, which can fly off up to a metre, and if you ingest them, inhale them, get them onto your skin, they are really, really bad, and for pets can be fatal. So as we're planning on having cats and dogs, or a cat and a dog on this land at some point in the future, we feel that we want to get rid of these pines as soon as possible. And once we've dealt with them, once they're down, they'll become firewood and mulch. So if I have a successful time here, I'm going to chop up the tree, which is already on the floor because I pushed it over with the tractor a couple of months ago, and I've brought down a pickaxe because I'm going to dig out as much of the roots as I possibly can and take the whole thing away. I'm not sure if I'm asking too much of myself to dig out the roots of this pine, but I'll give it a couple of minutes and see how I get on. I've loosened it a bit, but at the moment the stump's winning. But I'm not giving up. I've gone down to get myself a shovel and a sledgehammer, and I'm going to do some digging and I'm going to do some whacking. Alright, I admit it, that's not helping at all. I've been whacking and hacking, and I think I'm finally getting somewhere, I hope. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Please. Oh. Oh. Yes. Oh. I will never ever again leave a tree standing and a root ball in the ground when I've got a JCB literally passing it about 30 times a day. That almost broke me. When I come to cut the one further up by the drive, I'm just leaving the stump. It's a bigger tree. I'm not even going to attempt to take the stump out, and there's no need because it's not in the way of anything. I'm chuffed I got that out. Ah, job done. Now that I've cleared the pine tree off the land, I just wanted to take a moment to tell you why Miranda and I have made the decision to hold back on our plans with this area for our plans for the vegetables and the fruit orchard. And it's for a number of reasons. First of all, we want to see how this land performs through the winter whilst we see how the new canal or lavada and French drain works. We want to see whether or not we end up with sodden ground again, which we know will be impossible to grow in. Additionally, we plan to have a potting shed somewhere on the land, and we want time to plan where to locate it, what we'll make it from, how we'll utilise it. We want time to plan out the landscaping of the area. So where should we put our fruit orchard? Where should we site our vegetable beds? Bearing in mind where the water sources are, which are going to be our well and our borehole. The other thing which struck us the other day whilst we were going around some garden centres is the vast variety of fruit trees which are available in a single species. If you take apples, for example, we've spoken in detail about maybe having enough apple trees on our land to be able to make and produce our own cider. But even with apples, there seems to be hundreds of different varieties available, maturing at different times of year, having different qualities, and we want to sit back and go to what really will work for us on this land. And then once we have harvested those apples, how and where do we store them? And the same applies to everything, whether it's citrus trees, pears. We need to know how we're going to manage this land properly so it's as highly productive for us as possible. In the areas we are going to have our vegetables, we now realise that we do need to improve the soil structure a little. Many of you have suggested that in the comments already. The soil here is good. A lot of the locals who have come round to visit us or do work for us have pointed out how good the land is down here. But the soil does have a fair degree of clay in it. And I've noticed over the summer and since the rain we've had in early autumn that where our onions have been, that soil has started to compact and we need to add some more organic matter into it to improve it. Now, the best way of us doing that is by bringing in some manure, whether it be horse, sheep, cow, goat, I really don't mind. But we need time to find somewhere where we can get that material because we're going to need a lot of it. And also it needs time to rot into the ground as well. So delaying our plans a little allows time for that to happen. Especially down here in the summer, there is no shade. Well, there's no shade throughout the year. Now, it doesn't matter now it's mid-November. The sun can shine on the land all day, but in the hot summer, when it's 40 degrees and sometimes 40 degrees for 4, 5, 6 weeks, plants here are going to get baked. So we need to work out exactly what needs to have shade and how we're going to provide it, because there's none at the moment. So we're going to plant trees to provide that. How long will that take for the trees to get to maturity? Or do we need to put up some shade cloth and some structures to hold that? I think one of the best reasons for holding back though is there'll be time for our neighbours who are experienced organic gardeners and vegetable growers to come over and give us the benefit of their experience. Just over the way, our neighbour Diamantino, he's offered to come round and show us where to site things and how to do things. We've already had a little tour of his own garden, which is beautifully set out, and you can see that he knows exactly what he's doing. So rather than Miranda and I second guessing how to do things, we can have people over and they can say, do this, but don't do that. And hopefully as a culmination of all that, we'll be more successful. And I think the last and most important reason for us just to take a step back for now is that hopefully beginning early next year, we've got our renovations of our properties beginning. And that's 3 houses plus a ruin. And that's going to take up a lot of our time. And I'm not certain whether or not we can create a brand new garden area to become self-sufficient and do all that work at the same time. Now, hopefully, if our best prospects come true, at some point next year, those renovations work will be completed. And then we'll have all our time to dedicate down here on our land. Now, we'll pick away at things and make a start. And I think that's okay because we won't be needing to water. We can just literally concentrate on the hard landscaping and the infrastructure down here. So by next winter, we'll know where things are being planted, what's being planted, how we'll grow them, how we'll protect them, and how we'll end up thereafter having the biggest yields possible. I was just about to head back up to the house and I forgot that I wanted to mention that we had enough rain the other day to have some water coming down our new canal, Lavada, and it worked like a dream. I went and walked from right down the bottom where it goes into the river all the way up to the top where it goes under the road. No problems at all. A couple of people mentioned in the comments how was the French drain performing. Well, we just simply haven't had enough rain yet for the French drain to operate. The ground's still firm, it's no sign of waterlogging at all, and I think until this is waterlogged the French drain won't be doing anything. I did initially think it was working, but it just happened to be the water cascading over the edge into our pit where the water collects, and it was bouncing on the pipe and making it look like there was water coming out. But no, as soon as that cascade eased back a little bit, I could see there was nothing coming out of the French drain. So so far so good. So far we don't have a problem. Maybe that's really helped by how much water is being collected by the canal further up the land, because there's no way for it to reach across into this half-acre field now where we're going to be putting everything. It literally falls into the canal and is taken away.
It is cold and rainy and horrible outside. I am blooming frozen even though I've been working in here. I've got as far as I can in the dining room. I have more or less finished. I've been working along the edges, getting right into the little corners, into the little grooves, getting rid of all the last bits of paint. But the fabulous tool that Lewis recommended, I've run out of sanding belts. I ordered extra, but I managed to get through 5 within 10 minutes and I'm really frustrated. So I've got to order some more. But to be honest, it's the teeny weeny bit of work that's left to do now, and I'm so pleased with this. Once that's done, I can treat all the wood and that's a dining room complete.